I don't know. We pull up and Tom said, look at the tree. And look at the tree.
Check this out. We left to go do some sightseeing and came back, and this gigantic piece of this tree has fallen down right on our campsite.
Hi, we're the Care Kids.
Our parents are crazy. They want to take us on a year-long trip.
They call it an empathy expedition.
We're traveling the states to discover what makes us united.
50 states and 52 weeks.
And I saw you, cause I wanna be like the wind. I wanna run with you. Oh, we can be wolves, howling at the great white moon. I wanna be by your side when we light up the sky for the world to see. Run, 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 run with me.
We are at the concert on the Great Platte River Road, I think that's what it says on that sign right there.
So in Nebraska, we met up with our cousins. We call them the Colorado cousins because they're our cousins who live in Colorado. And we stayed and played with them, and we had tons of fun.
What is this? Where are we?
Oh, we're in the caves. Down here, we're in the caves. Caves.
We were at Lake McConaughey, and it was just so much fun.
That's what I call a roaster.
Does it taste better just knowing you roasted it over a fire on a beach?
Yes.
Yeah. That's so.
We're at Lake McConaughey in Nebraska, roasting hot dogs on the beach.
Yeah.
Our campground, some crazy things happened.
I don't know. We pull up and Tom said, look at the tree. And look at the tree.
Check this out.
Someone slid our table left.
We left to go do some sightseeing and came back, and this gigantic piece of this tree has fallen down right on our campsite.
Majority of the entire tree is just on the ground right here.
Yes.
And the kids are like, yay, 4! And then Uncle Tom's like, quick, back, back.
Somebody moved the table and the chair. And all of our other chairs, we had chairs all around the fire. Remember how we had all those chairs?
Yeah.
And they're all just...
They must have like seen it falling and like heard me grab it off.
I don't think it would have just like snapped. I think it would.
We came back to our campsite, and there was this giant tree like 2 feet away from the tent, and we were like, okay, that wasn't there before. What happened?
We were here, we just pulled up, and it was about 30 minutes after we pulled up. Wind started picking up really heavy, and then 5 minutes after that, we heard some fireworks going off, and we turned around, and the whole entire tree was just coming down.
There weren't actual fireworks though. That just sounded.
No,
like
it sounded like a 500 pack of black cats going off. And I turned around, and it's just coming down. I blacked out for a second, trying to pull her away. Don't even really remember what happened. Shut a half a tree like that. I've never seen anything like this. I'm very glad that it didn't come out on our stuff, especially you guys being here with all your children and everything. I'm just glad no one got hurt. It was ridiculous. It was crazy.
Gigantic fires, dude. That is... Yeah.
You were in the water. So
it
Asa.
hit our campsite.
That's not what worries me. It's what makes all I'm thinking right now, firewood. I didn't have any s'mores last night, so bonfire. It's gonna be like
It's bigger than that piece that's left right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's crazy.
My hair's good.
I think we better roast some smallish. Smallish.
We just got to Hastings, Nebraska, and we're going to the Kool-aid Museum.
I went on a snipe hunt, and I found an actual snipe right there.
Wait, what was that?
This tree is more then it's 700 years old. So right here is when it first sprouted. Here is where Gutenberg invents movable type printing. This is when the Declaration of Independence happened. This is when the Louisiana Purchase happened. This is when the Wright brothers first powered airplane flight. And this is the first demonstration of television.
On that.
Before Columbus even discovered the New World. The whole museum wasn't centered on Kool-Aid, but there was a big exhibit that was there that was completely centered on Kool-Aid. Nebraska is where Kool-Aid was invented. And there was a lot of really cool memorabilia and like old commercials playing and like over loudspeakers like, hey, Kool-Aid! Oh yeah!
So Edward Perkins, he's the guy who made Kool-Aid. His favorite flavor of Kool-Aid was raspberry, which they discontinued in 2001.
Cheers! We are at the bridge named Bob. That's its actual name.
What state are we in?
Iowa. But like 15 minutes ago, we were in Nebraska. Nebraska's on the other side of Missouri. Right there.
We're at Boys Town, Nebraska, and we're seeing the largest ball of stamps. And first it started with just a golf ball, and then all the rest was stamps.
That is pretty big, huh?
You can actually knock on it because it's pretty darn hard. Ripley's, believe it or not, featured it as the world's largest ball of stamps, so it is 600 pounds. Over 4.5 million stamps is what they estimate.
No one could ever lift this. It's super heavy.
We went to Boys Town, which was basically this city that was entirely made for kids that were basically like orphans, or they had run away from home, or they'd been abused, and it's still running today. So we met the Dotzlers, who have raised 14 children in inner city Omaha in a converted firehouse.
So we've been here for how long now? 20?
Yeah, so we've lived here 21 years. So it was 28 years ago that I left chemical engineering, came down and started this mission.
Okay.
And so this was the mission base up until about a year ago. Okay. So the whole white flight in inner cities, that kind of began to happen. And so this building sat here and we picked it up in the early 90s.
The dad runs his own ministry, and they have 14 kids. We met with 2 of them because the rest of them were all grown up. The next oldest one was graduating high school.
Before we had children, when we were just getting together, we both decided one day we would like to adopt.
Yeah.
It was just something that we thought it was something we wanted to do eventually.
So
we already
one of
had
those
2
deals.
children.
Yeah.
We already had 2 girls, and then we got the twins.
So it was early on in your children when you adopted.
So we got the twins, and then when we went to go get the twins, we had to go to Virginia because they were in Virginia. So we had to drive out. I started getting sick. I found out I was pregnant.
Of course you were.
So when Josh was born, we had 5 children, 3 and under.
They live in the inner city of Omaha.
This area down here, they literally pulled out 2 dead bodies just before we moved in. This is a very volatile area that we've been working to revitalize. And so, yeah, it's amazing. We're very much about culture building, and so our staff lives in the community, and so to live in the community is like a radical idea.
Sure.
And so we kind of have this inside-out transformation model. This is a map of our entire Omaha and vicinity area, and all these red pins are the number of murders that have occurred since we've been doing this for 28 years. And it's so interesting too, because a lot of the murders we discovered were actually around bars. And so just activity like that. But with regards to our inner city, it's just so defined. I said it's one thing to live out here when I was a chemical engineer and to hear about it, and you have these prejudgments about what people should do and why they're in trouble. But then to live here and to grow up with these little children and to see what they go through, you begin to understand at a whole nother level. And so we actually have bounded this whole area and said our dream is that one day people from all over the world would fly into Omaha, Nebraska, because in Omaha, Nebraska, there's no inner city. People say, you are crazy, how's that going to happen? One neighborhood at a time.
Yeah.
So that whole love your neighbor thing, we take it seriously. We broke this down into 700 neighborhoods, working with the police, and now adopt neighborhoods. And that's really our strategy, is to start with a grassroots neighborhood strategy. Out of the 700 neighborhoods, right now we have 32 families living in 32 of the neighborhoods, and we have another 108 neighborhoods that we are in regularly. So we're up to 140 of the 700. But it all started right here. This whole neighborhood was the most violent neighborhood in Oak City when we started. Obviously, you start fixing up a building, we fixed up a few other houses, we started providing activities for kids, and we just start re-neighboring, and all of a sudden neighbors that were living next to each other but were so fearful of the streets never knew each other. And so we went from a neighborhood that was the most violent. I would dial 911 60 to 70 times just during the summer with all the activity, to the place where I was talking to a group and I said, you know, honestly, in the last year I might have dialed 911 2 times. So that's an example of the change. And so the police tell us in the 140 neighborhoods that we're in, that crime and violence is generally down about 75% right now. So this strategy of having people not transfer out, because there's a saying that we heard early on when we moved in the community, work hard, get an education, and you too can get out of the ghetto.
Sure.
We said, let's don't transfer, let's stay and transform. We have a tagline, out of the seats, into the streets, which is our book title. But the whole emphasis is to see every person in every neighborhood have every opportunity to reach their God-given potential.
When we were at the Dotzlers, we went to this place called Kong Burgers.
Thank you.
It's basically this Greek hamburger restaurant, and they have this burger called the Kong Burger, and it's got like 7 hamburger patties stacked this high on buns, so it's like a sandwich this high. And sometimes they can't even fit it on one plate without it toppling over, so they have to split it in half and stick it on the plate in 2 halves.
7 burgers? I thought.
It was like 7. It was like 4. I don't know. It was either 4 or 17. I'm not sure. We also went to the zoo, and their zoo is awesome because it has a giant dome that is a desert, and underneath it there's this like underground kingdom exhibit where it's like what it looks like at nighttime, like animals that live only in the night, like nocturnal animals. And there was a swamp filled with alligators in there, and it was really cool. If you went to the Omaha Zoo for 2 weeks, every day for 2 weeks, you could see different exhibits every single day and never see the exact same exhibit twice. My favorite thing about Nebraska was shadowing the Dotzlers because we had a lot of fun with them. We really connected with them, and we had a lot of fun in a lot of places.